Hello, everyone, and welcome to the
writing class.
Yes, and Women's Web podcast. And Winona, we were just talking about you and how you don't take great pictures.
Right. So we're just gonna talk about what we were talking about before they started the recording. But by the way, we have conversations before we start the recording button. Wow, try saying that 3 times fast with the crack too.
Okay. Wow. All right. Yeah. So.
Yeah, you weren't expecting that at all.
I wasn't expecting that at all. I was like, it's too early or late, depending on how you define it.
It's too midday for this conversation.
It's too midday. Oh my goodness, that is going to be.
That's the new statement.
That is a new statement. I'm putting that in a new book. I'm gonna be like, it's too midday to have this conversation.
It's going on a shirt also.
It needs to either be early or late. Like the midday, that's no. It's a no. But I'm Jade.
And I will know. I think right after them, it's gonna be like fully caffeinated to midday for this conversation. So like,
oh wow, fully caffeinated to midday for this conversation.
Yes,
I feel like that should be on a shirt. Like, yeah, that's. I have to.
I'm gonna do that as soon as we get off of here. But we have a guest.
Oh yeah. Oh right.
We almost forgot.
We have to talk about. We have to talk about our literary life guides and pop poetry. Right. And I thought the voice was bad with other life lessons, and I thought being caught up was easy. If only I were me, a memoir and verse, the Widow's Debt series, and Pouring Coffee, all that you can get when you get your audiobooks. And if you want to check out one of my favorite books, you can always find out what your ladies are doing on www.andithoughitladies.com. But y'all aren't here to hear about us.
You're here to hear about our wonderful guests. Wonderful guests.
Would you like to introduce yourself?
I would love to. It is so awesome being here with you guys. I am Carol van den Hende, and I will introduce myself by sharing different hats I wear in my life. I think as really successful women like you are, you know that feeling of having different, things that you're really interested in and that really get your creative juice going. So first, I have my day job, my role at Mars Incorporated, in which I have been really lucky to work in the sweet world of chocolate. Very happy to talk about that. 15 years running all different brands like M&M's and Twix and Three Musketeers and Milky Way. Happy to dive into any of that. And then another hat I wear is I'm a mom and a wife. I'm actually a mom of twins, which is really interesting because I'm an only child and I've always wanted siblings. And so I wrote twins into my book, which is actually leading to the third hat I'd love to tell you about. I'm an author and a speaker, and my award-winning novel, Goodbye Orchid, has won now 16 awards, has been named, and actually I've been named Disability Hero of the Year for the work in Goodbye Orchid, because the work is inspired by combat wounded veterans, and would love to tell you more about that as well.
Wow. Okay, so let's start off first and foremost with
you can absolutely tell she's speaking right.
Right.
First of all, because it was organized, and I was like, okay, well, I think we have 3 things we need to talk about today. Thank you for letting us know.
I believe we'll start at number 1, which was chocolatier. How did you become a chocolatier?
I am so lucky. So I have always had a major sweet tooth, and you can feel free to nod if you agree, and you also can relate to that. I've always had a major sweet tooth. I worked in a bakery when I was in high school. And so my first job out of college, I told my family that I was going to work for Mars Incorporated, and they just nodded. They were like, of course you are. Of course you're going to go work where they make M&Ms. You're going to sit in a chocolate factory. Lovely. That is so perfect for you. And so it was my first job out of college. And in fact, I've been there decades now. I've worked in everything from digital technologies to marketing, strategy, and I'm currently sitting on the digital technologies leadership team. And it is an amazing purpose-led company, which I absolutely adore.
So, nice. So you have this day job that's amazing. So how did you schedule in the time from your day job, and you also raise children, another amazing thing, to write a book that's now awarded? Like, how did you find the time?
Well, I'll say 2 things. One, I find, and you guys also have so many amazing things on your plates that you might be able to relate to this as well, that when I find things that really are aligned with my passion, aligned with my values, I make time, I find time for that. And actually working on those things of passion give me even more energy to do those things. I absolutely adore writing. I adore being able to touch readers' lives. People have told me that I've opened up their minds and deepened their empathy. There is no better gift in the world. And so I make time for those things because it's important to me. And then secondly, I will absolutely give credit to my husband. He is the one that does the laundry in the house, the dishes, the grocery shopping. He stayed home with our twins until they were 3.5 years old. So, and when we had an assignment in China, the 4 of us moved to Beijing for 2 years. he quit his job and looked after the kids. So I have dedicated my debut novel, Goodbye Orchid, to him because of everything he does to make me able to be the best person I can be.
Now, can you tell us a bit about the book, what it's about?
Yes.
Goodbye Orchid. I mean, the short answer, people love to know where the inspiration came from. The short answer is really it's inspired by combat wounded veterans. But the longer answer is that I started writing at a time that was difficult. We were actually having a hard time with one of our twins. And I started pouring my heart out on the page as a place of solace for myself. And during that time, what I was seeing were stories in the news of soldiers who were coming back wounded, and they, fall so far from that place of being incredibly physically fit, mentally fit, and then when they're combat wounded, they really fall far. But what inspired me in that was the strength and resilience that they demonstrate to get back to good. And that's what I put on the pages of Goodbye Orchid. And so although there are really difficult things that happen to the protagonists, ultimately it's a story of optimism and resilience. And, in essence, what happens, the entrepreneur Phoenix Walker suffers an accident, a really tragic accident that changes him forever. And as a result, when he wakes in the hospital and sees what's happened, he thinks about the woman he loves, Orchid Page. That's why the book is called Goodbye Orchid. But he also remembers that she was traumatized by images of trauma as a child. And therefore, she is really sensitive to images of trauma. And he's actually become the thing. He embodies the very thing that most triggers her. And so in order to protect and love her, he feels he's faced with the hardest decision of his life. Whether to love Orchid, he might need to leave her. Reviewers have said it's like a modern day affair to remember. They say hashtag bring tissues. It's a very emotional story, but it's also a very beautiful story.
Wow, that is amazing. And like, I definitely,
I'm sad already.
I'm excited to read all the books, right? All your next books. I know you're going to have more books coming out. So what are 2 pieces of advice that you would give all the authors out here that are just, or people that are just trying to write something? 2 pieces of advice. And then where can people find out more about you?
So I speak at writers' conferences and I often talk about personal brand. And I'd say my number 1 piece of advice is being clear about your why. So what's the reason? And you two are both so passionate. There are things I'm sure that drive you, that make you want to make the difference that you make in the world. And I think that's the case with writers as well. When we're really compelled to write, there's some reason, some message we want to get out into the world, some values we believe in. And so I absolutely believe that that's an important place to start, to have work that's really authentic and that comes from your heart.
Mm-hmm.
And then secondly, it's probably just simply perseverance, having, people say, butt in the chair, do the writing, do the work, and it'll come.
Absolutely. Where can people find out more about you, to buy your wonderful book and like follow you?
There's one easy place, my link tree, which is linktr.ee/CVDH. That has links to my Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. It has it all. Goodreads, BookBub, places to buy the book. Also my website, carolvandenhende.com. And I might need to spell that because that long Dutch last name doesn't always run trippingly off people's tongues. So it's CarolVandenHende.com. And my website has actually a list of all the places where I'm speaking. I speak at book events, libraries, book clubs can book me. There's also information about Goodbye Orchid. And then there's a media kit, which shows the 16 awards that the book has won.
Wow, that's fabulous. Thank you so much for coming on the show today. We really appreciate it.
I feel a little underaccomplished as an author.
I know, right? Just a little bit. Like I was like, oh, I only have 1 award. Maybe I need to get 15 more. It's fine. We're so excited for you. I guess go ahead and wrap this up. Yep, you can find out everything your ladies are doing on www.andithoughladies.com. While you're there, take a moment, go to the bottom of middle of the page and see the charities that we probably support. Maybe you can support them also. We thank you in advance for that. And just remember, y'all, wisdom is all around you if
you're open to finding it and accepting it. So peace and love, you guys, from Winona
and Jade. Bye bye. Oh yeah, thanks for listening.